Hey, everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something kind of a big question, I guess you could say.
hmm
Why does it feel like America is falling apart? You know, it's something we hear a lot these days.
Yeah.
And you've sent us so many interesting things to look at.
hmm
Articles, videos, personal stories,
Yeah, it's really
all kind of point.
across the board
Yeah,
to this
a
feeling.
lot of different perspectives.
Exactly. So are you ready to kind of dig into all of this?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think one of the things that's really striking is that it's not just one thing.
Right.
You know, it's not like everyone's saying, oh, it's the economy or oh, it's the politics. There's
Right.
anxieties about the political landscape, the economy, and even deeper than that, I think, a sense that we can't trust the institutions
Right.
that are supposed to be, you know, the foundation of it all,
Yeah.
the things that hold us together.
It's kind of like
It is. It's like all these different threads, and they're all kind of unraveling at the same time. Yeah. And maybe the most obvious one to start with is the political stuff.
oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, you got like Tom Cotton calling China an evil empire,
Right.
saying that they're basically trying to take over the world.
Replace the US as the global superpower. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't exactly make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, you know?
No, not at all. And I think it really feeds into this bigger sense of distrust that
Yeah.
we're seeing everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, even look at Steve Bannon and his frustration with the budget committee.
Right.
He's demanding transparency on these Dogecoin cuts, and
Yeah.
he's saying the whole system is rigged.
Right.
And I think that resonates with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then, of course, you add in the whole social media thing.
Oh yeah,
And it's like everything just gets
just gets amplified.
amplified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 1,000 times louder.
Exactly.
Even when Elon Musk took over Twitter, or that whole thing, people were freaking out. Even like Bernie Sanders was worried,
About what it would mean for
Yeah, for the
political discourse.
Yeah, which, let's be honest, was already
Already a mess.
a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not just online either.
right.
I mean, you look at the rise of right-wing populism, someone like Donald Trump as this figurehead for that movement.
Right.
Despite all the controversy, I mean, it suggests that there's something deeper going on.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like the rules have changed, but nobody knows what the new rules are.
Exactly.
And then you see these stories like Chris Clue getting arrested
Oh, yeah.
for calling Majua a Nazi movement.
At a city council meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like suddenly this
Abstract.
abstract feeling that things are falling apart becomes very real.
Very real and very intense.
Intense, yeah.
And it makes you wonder, is this all this political turmoil? Is it just a symptom of something even deeper, Like maybe something like,
Like what?
like economic inequality.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can't ignore that.
No.
That's a big one.
It is. It's like the giant elephant in the room.
When you have like Oxfam telling us that the richest 1% owns almost half
Almost half of all the wealth. Yeah.
all the wealth.
And then on the other side of that, you have,
Yeah.
almost half the world living below the poverty line.
The
It's like, that's going to create some tension, right?
like the American dream is like
Slipping
away for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's interesting how this economic anxiety plays out
Right.
in all these different ways.
Yeah.
You have Sean talking about the impact of federal layoffs on rural communities.
Right.
Places where, like, the Forest Service is a major employer.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people, it's not just statistics, it's their livelihood disappearing.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
it gets really personal really fast.
Exactly.
And then you layer on top of that the
Yeah.
rising cost of everything.
Housing, groceries,
Yeah.
healthcare.
It's no wonder people are feeling squeezed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you see these stories like that graphic novel artist
Oh, yeah.
who ended up with an $85,000 medical bill after back surgery.
Wow. I mean,
Like-
that's...
That kind of thing can make anyone feel like the system is working against them,
Oh, yeah.
no matter how hard they try.
So we've got this political division, and then we've got this economic stress.
Right.
But then there's this other layer, I think, that's almost even more unsettling, which
Yeah.
is like this erosion of trust in institutions.
Right.
Like we're losing faith in the very things that are supposed to hold everything together.
Mhm.
Stephen made a really interesting point about civil service protections,
Yeah.
how they were put in place to prevent corruption, to keep
Yeah.
the government credible.
Mm-hmm.
But these days...
Well, yeah, I
it's
mean,
not-
think about cases like Eric Adams having his criminal charges dropped.
Right.
The whole controversy around the DOJ's decision in that case, and then,
And people quitting.
yeah, career prosecutors actually resigned over it.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly inspire confidence, does it?
No. It feels like even the systems that are supposed to keep things in check
Right.
are starting to,
To falter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings us back to the heart of our question here. Does this all add up to America actually falling apart?
Yeah, it's not just about these individual events, right? It's this overall feeling that something is fundamentally broken.
Like the foundation is cracking.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's almost like we've lost faith,
Mm-hmm.
not just in specific leaders or policies,
Yeah.
but in the whole idea that things will actually get better.
Right. And it's interesting because a lot of these anxieties aren't exactly new.
Right.
Remember when we were looking at the Stamp Act
Oh, yeah.
way back in colonial times? Even then you had this tension
Yeah.
between individual liberties and government overreach. It's like that struggle.
It's always been there.
Yeah, it's baked into the American DNA.
Yeah. So maybe this feeling that things are falling apart is just like a recurring
phase. Yeah, it's not so much about an actual collapse as it is about this kind of constant process of reinvention.
Reinvention. I like that.
Yeah.
It makes you think about, all the different ways that this tension between individual and collective freedom and control, how it plays out.
Plays out in so many different areas.
American life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even just thinking about the changing roles of women in politics.
Oh, yeah.
Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris.
Right.
They had to navigate a system where the expectations, the perceptions, everything was constantly shifting.
Yeah, they're kind of breaking new ground in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people that feeling that things are always changing, that instability.
Especially with technology now.
Oh, yeah, technology.
It's like things are changing faster than ever before.
Yeah, it's like you can't keep up.
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah. And that's got to be scary for a lot of people.
It is. It is. And think about the rise of AI.
Oh, yeah.
These programs like ChatGPT and DeepSeek,
right.
They're already changing how we work, how we communicate, even how we think.
It's kind of freaky.
It is a little bit freaky. On the one hand, you have all this potential for progress.
Right.
Right? But on the other hand, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, what happens to human connection?
Exactly.
To creativity, to jobs.
Yeah.
When machines can do so much.
It's like that classic double-edged sword.
It is.
And I think for a lot of people right now, it feels like that blade is tilting toward the negative.
Yeah, and it's not just about the technology itself, right?
Right.
It's the pace of change.
The pace, exactly.
It's like you're constantly trying to
catch up.
Yeah, to adapt to.
Figure out what the new rules are.
Yeah. And when things are moving that fast, it's easy to feel like you're losing control, It's kind of like when you're on a roller coaster.
Okay.
And it suddenly drops.
Yeah.
Your stomach lurches, your heart's racing.
Yeah.
It's both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time.
Right.
And I think that's what it feels like to live in America right now.
I think you're right.
It's like we're on this wild ride and we have no idea where it's going to end.
And in those moments, you tend to look for leaders.
Right.
For voices of authority.
To
help make sense of it all.
Yeah, to make sense of it all.
But what happens when even those voices are expressing doubt?
Right.
Remember Brian Cox's comment about the state of things?
Oh, yeah, the whole fart in the bath analogy.
Yeah. Not exactly a vote of confidence, is it?
No.
It speaks to this sense of disillusionment.
Yeah.
That even the people in charge don't have the answers.
So what do you do then?
Right.
When it seems like the systems, the structures, they're not working.
Where do you turn?
Yeah. Where are the alternatives?
Well, I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, right?
Okay.
We also have voices like Bernie Sanders who are calling for action.
Yeah.
They're saying people need to stand up, fight for a better future.
Right.
It's a reminder that even amidst all this chaos, there's still hope.
Hope?
Yeah. There are people who believe that we can create change.
Right.
That we can build a better world.
So it's not about just sitting back and watching everything fall apart.
It's about taking action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about deciding what kind of future we want.
Exactly.
And then going out and making it happen.
Yeah. And that brings us to this really crucial question. What can we as individuals do about it?
Right.
What's our role in all of this?
Yeah. That is the big question, isn't it? Like, how do you even begin to tackle something this big?
Right. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. Like, one person can't really make a difference.
Right.
But the thing is, every action, every choice we make, it kind of ripples outward.
Right.
It has an impact.
And think about it, like, this whole deep dive wouldn't even be happening
right.
without all of you,
Yeah.
You're the ones who brought these sources to us. You're the ones who are engaging with these ideas. I mean, that's already a huge step.
It is. It's about awareness. It's about having these conversations.
Yeah. So let's kind of recap a little bit. We talked about political polarization. That feeling that we're constantly at each other's throats.
Yeah, and how social media can really amplify that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how that distrust spills over into institutions, like what happened with the DOJ.
Right, those prosecutors who resigned.
Like you said, a system breaking down. And then on top of all of that, you've got this economic reality.
Yeah, the growing gap between the super rich and everyone else.
People struggling to keep up with the cost of living.
Healthcare bills that can bankrupt you.
It's no wonder people feel like the system is rigged.
It really is.
But here's the thing. We've also seen these glimmers of hope, People organizing, raising their voices.
Demanding better.
Artists using their creativity to fight injustice.
It's like a reminder that even when things feel like they're falling apart, we humans are pretty resilient.
Yeah. We have this amazing ability to, bounce back.
To fight back.
Yeah.
To find new ways forward.
So maybe this feeling that America's falling apart is actually a sign that we're about to see something new.
It's possible.
Like a transformation.
A reckoning with the things that haven't been working.
Remember those historical parallels we were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The Stamp Act, the lead up to the American Revolution.
Those were times of massive upheaval.
But they also led to huge change.
Exactly.
So maybe we're in a similar moment right now.
It's something to think about, for sure.
So is it really a falling apart? Or is it more like a breaking open?
Ooh, I like that.
A chance to, reimagine what America could be.
Yeah.
And as each of us comes in, right?
Absolutely.
It starts with awareness.
With conversations like this one.
With staying informed.
Asking questions.
Challenging assumptions.
And then taking action.
Yeah.
However big or small.
In our own communities. In our own lives.
Exactly.
Like that lawyer from the DOJ said, seeing those airport protests during that whole travel ban fight.
It gave him a renewed sense of purpose.
He realized he wasn't alone.
That people were willing to stand up for what they believed in.
And that gave him the energy to keep fighting.
Exactly. It shows the power of collective action.
Right. And that graphic novel artist sharing their story about healthcare, that's another great example.
Absolutely. They took their personal experience and turned it into a tool for change, for connection, for inspiration.
It all comes back to this idea that we're not in this alone. We're all part of this big, messy, complicated, beautiful experiment called America.
And the future isn't set in stone.
Right. We get to shape it.
Through the choices we make.
The stories we tell.
The actions we take.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to encourage everyone to keep exploring these ideas, keep talking to people, keep questioning.
Don't give up hope.
Because even if it feels like things are falling apart, there's always the possibility of putting them back together even better than before.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And hey, before we go, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, please help us grow this channel.
We need your help to keep these conversations going. Reach more people who are hungry for knowledge.
And if you're looking for a way to wear your values on your sleeve...
Oh, yeah. Check out carbonatedthoughts.store.
They've got amazing skateboards, art, streetwear.
All promoting social justice.
And for some amazing music to fuel your activism.
Head over to popievlove.bandcamp.com.
You won't regret it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep believing in the power of change.